Man, we're going to have a lot of fun tonight in Vancouver, all my real fans.
The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Oh, what is going on? And I'm not talking to you and you and you and you, okay? I'm talking about my life right now, involving your Vancouver Canucks, okay? What's going on? Frank Seravalli saying what? Significant progress has been made between Pettersson and the Vancouver Canucks, and they may be working on an 8-year deal, and it could happen. And it won't happen now, but it could happen in what, a couple days? And what about this? Chris Tanev to the Dallas Stars. Did I get that right? Is it the Stars? Yo, confirmed? Dude, hockey, man. Life as a Canucks fan has us doing the most here on Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Okay, we back. Right, for the second time today on this Wednesday, this beautiful Wednesday on the West Coast, the best coast of Canada. My name's Kyle Bowen. This right here, Locked On Canucks. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You know, if you want to do this every once in a while. Hey, speaking of doing this, man, I called Trevor Beggs to be on this episode of Locked On Canucks, and he's a family man. AKA, I don't even know if he knows what's going on. So at any given point, maybe he will join me for this conversation surrounding everything Vancouver Canucks. Straight up. Unreal. The last 30 minutes of this fandom, man. Doing the most. So much to go through. Let's start from the top, okay? Like I said earlier, Frank Seravalli, Daily Faceoff. This guy, man. Speaking of doing the most, this guy's doing the most all 2024, okay? This season is his season, especially if he gets this right? And I think he will. The Vancouver Canucks and Elias Pettersson getting closer and closer to an 8-year deal. That's something else. It could happen in a couple days. I wonder what happened. Speaking of which, look at this. Japan. One of the best commenters on the program, man. He's talking about this, okay? It's clearly affecting Pettersson's play. Is he resigning so he can focus on the rest of the season? Who knows, man? We don't know Ish, okay? Pettersson's a quiet dude. And yes, he made it clear that he doesn't want to sign or didn't want to sign until the end of the season. But here he is when it got the loudest, possibly doing so. And here's the thing. I don't want to accuse the guy of being quote unquote soft or, letting the noise get to him, okay? He's a hyper-competitive elite athlete playing one of the hardest sports in the world. He also plays pretty hard as well. Say what you want about him falling down. Say what you want about him, being a lighter player. This guy plays hard. He's doing his thing. True hockey player. I can't accuse him of allowing the noise to get to him, but hey, maybe, just maybe, this season and his goals / ways of doing things completely change. And that is based on the Canucks being really, really good. And going back to him needing to focus more on the season, it got a bit louder. And he knew it was going to be loud around this time, okay? Around the trade deadline time. It is what it is. It was inevitable. Whether the Canucks were going to be good or not. And here's March, and here's the Canucks pretty much shocking the whole league and creating this Road to June campaign. And he may be thinking, let's just get this done, get it out of the way, and focus on the moment. I was reading this book. I think it's called Acid for the Children, okay? Written by Flea, bassist for the Red Hot Chili Peppers, okay? He always talked about a group, a union, not able to reach its full potential if there's any gray area within that union, okay? And maybe this 8-year deal or this new deal gets rid of that. And again, there's no more questions. We're just talking about the games. And we got to do it. Let's talk about the dollar amount, okay? Because it's really interesting. Really interesting. Japan, again, he hopes that it's a $10 million per year deal. That would be a steal Look at Matthew, okay? Anything over 10 is stupid. Look at this comment, Nathan, saying, did I hit helium before this? Bro, no, I didn't. But I'm about to see my hot girlfriend, okay? She's fine. She's sexy. Life's good. Anyways, $10 million for Pettersson. If that happens, that's a steal. It really is. If 11 happens, it's a steal. And I know Pettersson's not playing Pettersson-like, quote unquote, right now. In fact, as a homie stated 20 minutes ago, he's the fourth best player on this team. And you can argue that he's been the fourth best player for the majority of the season, right? Miller Hughes battling for 1 and 2, Thatcher Demko, and then him. Thus kind of making the notion that he wouldn't sign a deal for this long and for a dollar amount that doesn't exceed $100 million, impossible. But here we are again. The team's really good. Really good. And it's not as if he's continued to keep that pace when it comes to the points that we saw earlier, right? So maybe that number did dilute. And maybe we are getting him for 8 years at $88 million, okay? Who knows? Maybe he wants to take less. I would think so. Again, this dude. Somebody mentioned in the comments a couple days ago, this dude reminds you of a guy like Kobe Bryant. Again, hyper competitive. Just cares about the championships. The money don't matter. I've been saying that for a long time. The money don't matter. Now we have to wait and see. But I'm going to put it out there. And if this thing got done quicker than expected, I'm assuming that that dollar amount is going to be a little bit less than maybe you and I think. And some people are saying $10 million. Who knows? Matthew's saying 9.5 over 8, man. Come on, bro. If this happens, bro, I'm buying Pettersson lunch for a year. Come on. Look at Mr. Whale. This is the optimism that I like, okay? Pettersson in a bit of a slump. He will peak before the playoffs. Hey, maybe it's easier for him to peak, way easier for him to peak if this thing is not, quote unquote, looming over him. How about Infamous, okay? It will also add a different pressure to perform to the dollar value in the eyes of fans. Hope we treat him good. Okay, so if he makes the most, if he were to make, the 12.5, that number, the McKinnon number, then yeah, rightfully so, fans would expect that play from him. And again, we haven't really seen that all season long. And yeah, there's been stretches, small stretches where he's looked really dominant, but I think for the most part, this season, he's just been really good. Really good, but he's definitely been a tier behind Kucherov, McKinnon, and McDavid, Matthews for what? The past 40 games. And for the past couple of years. Right now, he's not in that tier. Thus, bringing me back to this, right? Whether he signs an $11 million deal or a $12 million deal, there's going to be a large part of that contract where he is significantly underpaid. He's really good. Really good. A guy who can get a lot better with more experience. A guy who is super young. Mr. Whale, where are you hearing this signing news? Another comment coming in from the Whale. Dude, Frank Seravalli tweeted it out. Daily Faceoff. Yeah, just came out of nowhere. Seen it in my group chat too. I also just seen that Chris Tanev got traded to the Dallas Stars. Am I right on that? Am I right on that? Anyways, this is the exact quote / tweet from Frank Seravalli, okay? Canucks have made significant progress with superstar Elias Pettersson working on what is to be believed an 8-year contract extension. Not done, but big development, and a new deal could be finalized in the next coming days. Bro, Frank, here's the thing too. Yo, people, we gotta understand this too, okay? Because there's a lot of truth when I say this, bro. The people in the East, they don't look out for us, okay? Look at Elliot Friedman. I don't even know if Frank Seravalli's from the East, okay? I'm just spitballing right now. But anyways, Elliot Friedman, right? Always causing a stir. Always doing it. Saying things. Talking a lot of ish. Look what he did to Pettersson after they had an intimate bromance type of date, okay? Talking about life. Pettersson telling Elliot Friedman, I don't think I'm going to sign till the end of the season. I don't want to do that negotiating until hockey is over. And what has Elliot Friedman done to his friend? Not listened. Starting up a circus. Yo, I hope Frank is right. I hope Frank is not starting up a circus. I hope this deal is done within the next couple of days. Mr. Whale, man. Hey, throw the news in the Discord. Yo, it just happened 10 minutes ago. Hey, my Discord, man. Link in the bio if you want to win 2 tickets to a Canuck game at the end of the month, okay? The LA Kings coming to town March 25th. I got 2 tickets available. Subscribe to the channel and hit up the Discord. Follow me, and let's talk some more over there. How about Tyler M, man? Everyone in the media can suck a fat one. Suck a what? A fat what? Dude, this was going to happen, man. I think the media gets way too much blame, bro. Dude, come on. He did the interview on a boat in Sweden and said what he had to say. He plays for Vancouver. Bro, Matthew Tkachuk, what happened a couple of years ago? Big season, right? Things happen. The limelight really huge this time around. It is what it is. Straight up. How about this dingbat, okay? Too many comments from the peanut galleries causing Pettersson to bite the bullet. Who knows, man? Again, that dude kind of seems poised, man. I don't know if he's really caring about the noise too much. But hey, maybe it did get to him. It didn't bother him, but it kind of reminded him that, yo, there is this thing kind of looming, and why not get rid of it right away if we can, so all the attention can be put towards winning. And more specifically, when I say that out loud, it's really everything to do with the trade deadline, right? And I'm not trying to say in any which way or form that Pettersson was on the block, because that's not the truth. But hey, if this guy commits before the deadline, it gives Rutherford and Alvin and Tocchet and the brass and Chris Faber, right? Everything they need to know for the moves they potentially want to make. Straight up. Do the math. Alvin alluded to this, earlier in the season, right? With Ian McIntyre. There's a pecking order to a lot of things. And Pettersson was at the top of that list. Look at Oliver, okay? Is Pettersson getting $10 million now? That is the question. Bro, he's making more than $10 million. Let's not go there, guys. You know, all you guys want to look at how he's been playing recently. Blah, blah, blah. Look at the points. He's still doing it. He's still getting better. Look at the top 10 hits from Vancouver Canucks players this season. Pettersson at times lays the body, does his thing, plays bigger than he is. He's a baller. A baller. A dude that I have faith, a lot of faith in for the playoffs, for helping the city get to where they want to go. I know he hasn't been playing his best right now, but this guy is worth a lot of pennies. And for the third time, whatever he's getting paid, man, he's going to be worth way more than that. It's hard to overpay for guys like Elias Pettersson. And it's confirmed, right? Dallas traded in a second-round pick, a prospect, and something else for Chris Tanev. There you go. Chris Tanev not coming home. I may have to wait till the offseason. I'm not hurt by it, man. We talked about this earlier on that previous episode of Locked on Canucks, right? When we were talking about Elias Lindholm. I needed more from him. We talked about Carson Soucy. I wouldn't be surprised if Soucy comes back fairly soon. I know Tocchet had some good news about him. I wouldn't be surprised if Alvin and Rutherford just have faith that he could be the missing piece. He hasn't played a lot this season, and we've done fairly well without him. But when he's been in the lineup, he's been way better than expected. So maybe it's always been Plan Soucy, right? Anyways. Well, let's get back to the Pettersson thing, okay? Look at Gmod, okay? Remember Bubble Petey, playoff performer. Bro, for years and years and years and years, right? This team, this city, we made the playoffs a lot of times. And it took a while for guys like Henrik and Daniel to be quote-unquote playoff performers, right? You can argue that Marcus Naslund was never really a playoff performer relative to his potential, to his regular season output, right? And look what Pettersson did in his first experience. He did the most, was dominant, playing against bigger teams, the Blues, the Golden Knights. doing his thing. Look at Pettersson in the SHL and what he did at that age in that league. We brought up Kobe Bryant before, right? Because I think it was G. Ellis who made that comment. Or was it Keys? Anyways, this guy's a baller. He's a mother effer. What did I say? Yo, this dude straight up is a mother. One of those guys. Relentless. Have you read the book? He's one of those guys. Shout out to Matt, right? Are you effing serious? Let's effing go. Thanks for keeping it clean. I think so, man. I don't think Seravalli is trolling us. It came out of nowhere, but man, oh man. It's here. And we'll talk more about it. On the other side, I got to run an ad. Now, I want to, think of some more thoughts, okay? Can you guys comment some more theories around what happened? How did this happen? If it does happen tomorrow, like how did it go from, oh my God, to thank you, Petey. Let's do this. Let's go get a cup. Let's go build a dynasty. For years and years and years, let's have one of the best 1-2 punches offensively in the league at center. Let's lean into all this peak JT Miller time we have left. Because you got to be honest, how much of this version of JT Miller do we have left? Bro, the Canucks, man, if this deal gets done, man, if this deal gets done, yo, Ron, you commented it, okay? Is it confirmed that he's signing? Yo, Frank Seravalli, saying a lot. Man, oh man. We'll talk more about it on the other side. I'm getting emotional. And you're watching or listening to Locked On Canucks.
eBay Motors is everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts to choose from for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Woo! Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash, baby. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guarantee Fit only available to U.S. customers.
Okay, we back on this conversation called Locked On Canucks, okay, about your favorite team, the Vancouver Canucks. One love to the Don't Doze Art Lab for allowing us to do this in their studios, man, providing that West Coast bias for years and years and years and years. And days and days and days and days. And a whole lot of more tomorrows, okay? Speaking of tomorrow, is that the day, right? Do we get the press conference? Or do we get it on Friday? Seravalli said, man, it could happen in a couple of days. This is something else, man. And there's also still a, 1% chance, a 5% chance that we're getting fooled, man. I don't know, man. Reporters, man, I think they have a lot of fun. Sometimes, causing up a stir, dude, because Vancouver does something. Does something when they get any type of news involved. This team, man, such a polarizing team. What an entertaining season. Speaking of which, remember the beginning of the season? All this talking I was doing, right? All this talking about the goals of this team. What are the goals? Back in September. Dude, I wasn't thinking of the Stanley Cup. I was just thinking about Operation Sign Pettersson. Operation Impress Pettersson. Operation Sign this guy to an 8-year deal. And look at me yesterday. Or 2 days ago, when we started talking more and more about Pettersson. I was saying things like, yo, it's going to get done. But if it's going to get done, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 3-year deal. My expectations went somewhere else. I got dark. That's what happens when you hang out with Trevor Beggs. And boom, out of nowhere. This could be the case, and Pettersson could be around for 8 more years. Look at this comment, okay? Mr. Whale, smart guy. Again, producing the juice for the program. Pettersson was the one holding out on talking. He finally gave into management saying we need to do X by deadline to win the cup. So again, maybe it was a trade deadline. Maybe it was a little bit more of the noise that got to Pettersson's head, but not in a depressing way. Not in a stressful way. Maybe just in a way where the hockey universe had to wake him up and realize that maybe the Vancouver Canucks can do a lot more if this deal is signed prior to the deadline, right? Like, it's not just about you. Maybe this band of brothers needs to be more precise with the exact amount that they can use this deadline, because this season matters maybe more than next season will, or the year after, right? Because life is random. And what life is telling me right now is the Vancouver Canucks are pretty good. They got a really good chance to go far in the playoffs if things go right. Maybe he had the realization, right? The guy's hyper competitive. He could do the math. And maybe now it just made sense. And if that's all it was, if it was a thing or a bunch of things happening, but one of the biggest things happening was the simple fact that Pettersson just didn't want to talk to management, right? Didn't want to open up the conversation about anything contract because he just wanted to, play hockey and be recreational. That's how he wanted to live his life. Cool. But it's interesting if right away when the conversation did start, we already got here in a span of a couple minutes. And that tells me that the money coming from the Vancouver Canucks side was never a problem, because they know, and they're smarter than you and you and you and you. I hate to say it, they're smarter than me. They know that Pettersson is an elite. I'm not going to say generational, but elite asset. And it's really, really hard to find guys like that. Again, going back to what Thomas Grant said months and months and months and months and months ago, it is almost impossible, if not impossible, completely to overpay for a guy like Elias Pettersson. Oliver, man. Pettersson has the talent, no doubt about it. Keep in mind this too, man. The dollar amount, I'm just throwing this out there. I'm trying to feel this out with you, okay? The dollar amount could be a lot less too than initially stated by me, right? Because when the season started, well, what was I saying? $12.5, $13 million. He's on that McKinnon level. And if he's not there yet, just get the deal done. Get it done for 8 years, because in a couple years, he'll be a lot better and he'll be exceeding that value. Okay? Just get it done. Sign it for 8. But hey, that dollar amount could be a lot lower considering the fact that, the Canucks haven't gone national yet, right? They haven't played playoff games. What if this guy didn't have a contract and he took this team to the 3rd round and he was just ripping it up? Now, that would almost guarantee that, top tier type of money, right? Right. How about Cetos, man? Pettersson maybe had a bad agent or some bad advice / direction in the offseason, and the reality of this market was hitting hard. I don't think that's the case, man. Okay, bro, to be honest, when Pettersson was on that boat ride with Elliot Friedman, I think he said what he said because the obvious. The Canucks sucked. The Canucks sucked back in September. September wasn't that long ago. September was what, 5-6 months ago? I could still smell September. Okay? That's why he said what he said, okay? Who was convinced about anything Vancouver Canucks, okay? Alvin and Rutherford pretty much just got there. Tocchet just got there. And sure, they finished off the season well last season. And I guarantee the speeches were a lot better than the ones that Boudreau and Benning were giving. But a guy like that, an elite athlete like that, that's not enough to convince a guy like that again to commit long-term during his peak competitive years at the sport he excels at. If the Canucks are fighting for a playoff spot, right? If they're like the Pittsburgh Penguins, if they're 6 points behind a playoff spot, this deal's not getting done right now. It ain't. And again, I've been mentioning this so many times, right? And I'm not getting a lot of conversation about it because maybe I sound like an idiot, and maybe I'll just save it for the Discord, okay? Because I'm trying to make sense of it. You're telling me that JT Miller's play, his level up, his contribution had nothing to maybe do with the acceleration of this contract potentially being signed. You're telling me that if Pettersson takes $1 million less, that doesn't have everything to do with, building a competitor, but more specifically, JT Miller. The Canucks, man, this version of the Canucks with all this firepower, they have to take advantage of having that guy at that age playing like this. As Father Time, eventually catches up. And I think JT Miller, again, will be a good player for a long time. But, man, oh, man. This good? Who knows? How about Mr. Whale? Kyle is rock hard right now. I'm just curious, man. Maybe, though. Maybe. Yo, Pettersson for 8 years? I gave up on that bridge. Straight up. I walked the other way. 8 years would be something, okay? Look at Gmod. Who are this guy's sources? He's seen that it's 11.5 a year for Elias Pettersson. I wouldn't be mad, especially if it's 8 years. Do the math. Do the calculations. 8 years is a long time. He's going to get better. And look at Infamous, okay? For real, man. Who wouldn't take their time on the biggest deal of their life? Especially when it involved an employer that has sucked in recent history. Look at Richard, man. The sarcasm. Really, eh? And everyone was up in arms that he didn't want to be here. Yo, those people are just the haters, man. Oh, I can't call the Canucks fans the haters completely, but man, they just got that need for perfection, time in and time out. Bro, we're an antsy fan base, right? 50 plus years, no Stanley Cup, 50 plus years, only been past the second round 3 times. We're frustrated. We're pent up, thus leading to these demands that are somewhat unrealistic. This all being said, I think it's realistic to look at Pettersson in the playoffs and expect excellence, because every game matters. Every shift matters, and you're getting paid to, again, provide us what we haven't gotten before, and that's a Stanley Cup. And I think he's going to do that. This guy's cold-blooded. He's done it in the past, not really in the NHL playoffs because he's barely been there, but throughout his life, he's just the type of guy who gets a lot better when the pressure's on. I feel that with a guy like Elias Pettersson. Absolute baller. Okay? For real. And Gmod agrees with me, okay? Pettersson's the type of dude that will step up when the games really matter. All in all, do you think Pettersson's bored right now? The dog days of the hockey season, games 50 to 60. You get what I'm saying? Maybe his mind is already in April. For a dude who loves the game that much, he loves hockey that much, I would not be surprised. And it's really hard to capitalize in the moment when you're playing against other professionals when you're already somewhere else. And, I've kind of alluded to that too over the past couple of games where we've been kind of inconsistent, right? You kind of see that the Canucks are being a little lazy, using their sticks more, not working as hard. Pretty clear to me that they're not really focused on a shift by shift basis. They're already somewhere else. Maybe all this noise about them being that team, is going to take a little bit of time to get used to. Hopefully it's over with, because losing 5 of 6 and shooting yourself in the foot so many times is pretty. It's pretty. What's the word I'm looking for? Okay, they've sucked recently. Why have they sucked? I think they're just getting ahead of themselves, okay? Get back to playing your game. Get back to working hard. Not taking a shift off. That's your style of play. Look at Keegan. I wonder if the Canucks are slowing down a bit to try to slow down because of injuries, man, and not get injured. I don't know, man. Again, I think it's just about compete and getting ahead of things and trying to be something that they're not, okay? Acting like they're this elite team. Just go out and do it. Can I say this too? Did I hear that Pettersson went up to Tocchet Is that what I'm seeing before this potential contract extension? And was he getting advice on Tocchet in regards to the noise and how to handle it and all that jazz? Is that true? Can somebody confirm that? I'm just Kyle Bound, okay? Man, oh man. Anyways, man, my name Kyle Bound, KYLE-BHAWAN. I know a lot of you guys are talking about Tyler Toffoli maybe joining the Canucks. Is he a trade target? I'll talk to Trevor about that tomorrow. We'll get more information on this whole Pettersson signing with the Canucks for 8 years. I had to hop on here during an edit to just, do my thing. For real. And as Mr. Whale is saying, man, get the Discord. Link in the bio. Enter the contest. And let's talk more about the Vancouver Canucks offline, if you know what I mean. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. One love to you and you and you and you and you and you. One love to the Dodos Art Lab and the Locked On Podcast Network. Go Canucks, go. And we'll see you tomorrow here on Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the